Welcome to our afternoon read aloud. So, yesterday we started learning about Abraham Lincoln, and I read for you a biography, right? A story about his life that focused on young Abraham Lincoln. It focused mostly on what happened to him, what his life was like when he was young. Today we'll continue with that with just a short little book about when Lincoln was a boy. And I see maybe Abraham Lincoln on the cover with a book. Remember, we've already started to learn how he always loved to read, always had a book as much as he possibly could, and there is an axe, so he must be ready to work hard on a farm. And if we look on the back, we can see maybe his whole family and their log cabin and their farm. Here we go. When Lincoln was a boy. Ooh, and from the picture, I'm remembering how he worked on a river boat. That was a very flat kind of boat that went along the Mississippi River, in his case, to take or transport or carry large loads of things. By Maurice Bovetz. Here we go. Ooh, there's the whole family in the cabin. Ooh, they all look busy doing things. What was life like when Abraham Lincoln was a boy? Many folks sewed their own clothes and made their own toys. So they're sewing, making toys, working with wood, carving things. All kinds of details about life in their home. They cleared their own land. They grew their own wheat. So they had to clear the land, just like, remember we learned with Johnny Appleseed, who had to clear the land for growing apple trees, as well as Paul Bunyan, right? So they cleared the land to make farms. They grew their own wheat. They tilled their own gardens. They cured their own meat. Oh, have you noticed something about the sound of the book? It rhymes, doesn't it? So to till the soil is to turn it and plant seeds, and they cured their own meat. Remember, we've been talking about how in the old days they didn't have refrigerators, right? So they had to think of ways to preserve or keep meat from going bad. So one thing they did was to dry it out or smoke it over fires. Remember, we saw how Native Americans, the Powhatan, did that, right? Or sometimes they added salt to dry it out. So they tilled their own gardens, they cured their own meat. They milked their own cows. They built their own beds. They have to do all the work on their own. They churned their own butter. They baked their own bread. Again, all the things, all the foods that they consume, all the foods they eat, they have to make themselves. They have to grow it. They have to get it from their animals. They have to do something to it to turn it into stuff they can eat, which is so different than we do nowadays. They dipped their own candles. They made their own soap. Wow, because of course they couldn't buy any of that at a store if they lived far enough away from towns. They taught their children to work. And read and hope. Wait a minute, I got to go back and get the rhyme because I know that was supposed to rhyme. Have you noticed it's a rhyming book? So let's go back, let's get that rhyme. That was good. They dipped their own candles. They made their own soap. They taught their children to work and read and hope. And notice, I think this is supposed to be Abe Lincoln with a book, and notice here, where he's working in the field, what does he have tucked in his back pocket? A book, isn't he? Doesn't he have that? So I hope you enjoyed When Lincoln Was a Boy. I really like this book because, number one, it has a nice sound, it rhymes, and also, again, it makes so many connections to teaching us about what life was like in the past and what life was like for children, right? And I think that helps us all to understand a little bit more about history. Anyway, I hope you have a nice afternoon. Don't forget to keep washing your hands, cover your coughs and sneezes, do some reading, do some writing, help your family around the house, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.